program may be pre-recorded.
It's Your Life is sponsored by James J.C. Cooley.
Life is a series of circles and cycles, phases and stages. These are your experiences that teach you the lessons of life. You can either ignore them or embrace them. Welcome to the James Cooley Show. It's Your Life. James is a motivational speaker, author, military veteran, and founder of the James Cooley Foundation. James is here to equip you to strive for greatness and to overcome adversity. It's time to get equipped today for the challenges of tomorrow. Now, here's the host of It's Your Life, James Cooley.
Hello, welcome to It's Your Life. I'm James Cooley, and I tell you, for the last two plus years, I've been telling my listening audience to dream big, think big, most important, be big at everything that you do. So thinking big, meaning that you think out the box. Think out the box. We can all do small things. And we can do things that's going to make us happy and satisfy us at that moment. But in order to make an impact, in order to be an impact, in order to lead, we're talking about impact leadership, to have an impact on the next generation, generations after that, and generations to come. You have to be thinking big. And where I'm going with this is, I got a guest on tonight. Very, very good friend of mine, engineer, my Lockheed Martin days. You're going to find some things out about me that you don't know anything about. Lockheed Martin days when I was an aerospace engineer, and he is one as well. And it's just so nice hooking up with this guy again, because one of the brightest individuals that I know, and I know quite a few people. And so, how you doing today, my friend? How you doing? Noah. Okay, Noah, I can't hear him. How you doing, Michelle?
I'm doing great. I'm glad to be back home in Texas. We just got here. Our flight was delayed earlier today, but, we got home and we were very fortunate, and I'm just looking forward to the show tonight.
I'm looking forward to it as well, and I just want to make sure, because I did not hear anything coming from the studio. David, can you hear me? How you doing, my friend? Oh, there is nothing coming from the studio. I don't know what's happening. I just heard the commercials. I heard baby, try to get in touch with Noah, because I don't hear anything coming from.
The phone's been ringing. I've been answering the phone.
Oh, okay. Hey, David, how you doing, man?
I'm good, brother. How you doing?
Man, it's been a lot.
Can you hear me?
I can now. Man, a lot of years.
Okay.
A lot of years, man. And I just love what you're doing and thinking big. That's what it's all about. And doing our aerospace engineering days, I think you probably lasted longer than me. I think I retired a little bit before you did. Lockheed Martin. And but I really enjoyed working with you, man, and learning a lot. And you guys was some of my subcontractors when we had aircraft, and we had all of these things that we were designing. And in order to do that, it requires impact leadership. And so that's what we're going to talk about tonight. Michelle, how are you doing?
I'm doing great. Like I said before, I'm just so happy to be back home. Glad that, even though our flight was delayed, we still got on a plane and we got here safe and sound, and we picked up our beautiful dog Bella, so everything is right with the world.
Well, it is now, because we came back 3 days early to get back to our wonderful dog Bella, because she was having some problems. But we're back now. And just like Michelle just said, I didn't think we were going to make it back today, because they canceled our flight and delayed our flight, but we made it. How you doing today, Noah? How you doing, man?
Still trying to gather my bearings. Sorry, phone's been ringing off the hook. I'm doing spectacular and just trying to catch my breath in between everything.
Wow. I hope they calling in for this great show. Because
it could be.
Because that's where we at right now. But hey, I want to get this thing started. And listen, audience, just like I was saying, we got David Velasquez, my great friend. worked with him at Lockheed Martin. And Michelle, can you tell our listening audience the purpose of tonight's show and also the title of tonight's show before we introduce this great guy?
Yes, the title of tonight's show is Thinking Big in the Fourth Quarter of Life. And the purpose of the show tonight is getting to know the background of entrepreneur, investor, co-author, and military veteran David Velasquez. Discuss his career in the military and corporate world, and talk about his book, Impact Leadership, and discuss what is the fourth quarter of life.
And just like I was saying, I don't know if you heard it. My analogy was what David is talking about is impact leadership, and it requires for you to think out the box. And it's kind of like you use a scenario like a game. First quarter, you get started, you warm up. Second, you should be better, team gelling. Third, wow, you should guys be doing the fourth quarter. You got to finish it off, and then over with experience, you develop this leadership style where it impact others. So, Michelle, can you introduce this great guy to our listeners?
Oh, yes. David is an entrepreneur, investor, and co-author of the 2012 bestseller, The Art and Science of Success, Volume 2. He is semi-retired in his hometown, San Antonio, Texas, after a lifetime living and traveling the world. After admirable success through midlife, he offers leadership challenges of thinking big in the fourth quarter of his life. He's a seasoned leader with significant education and diverse experiences as a retired Army officer, a retired high-tech Fortune 300 manager, and a former Federal Credit Union board director of 20 years. A lifelong learner, he has a bachelor's in electronics engineering and 3 master's degrees, including an executive MBA and a lifetime of formal professional military, corporate, and network marketing leadership training. Having fun living life in his comfort zone, David operates his 2 businesses, mentors proteges, and mostly serves as the one and only abuelo for his grandson RJ. A proud father and grandfather, he and his wife Teresa travel in a financial social network with family and friends. The James Cooley Show, It's Your Life, welcomes Mr. David Velasquez.
David Velasquez, how are you doing, my friend? How you doing, man?
Good, James. Doing good. Excited about talking to you today. Excited to what you're doing for a living, man. What a great time.
Well, I'll tell you, man, we shared a lot of years together, man. Designing and inventing things, and I tell you, man, I'm so happy that I've been able to step away from that one right there and just sit back and just have fun. I'm not saying that we didn't have fun during that time. But high pressure, producing, designing, and you was always a top-notch leadership guy that made sure that our teams stayed on track with time, quality, and the money in budget. And I tell you, just tell our listening audience where are you from and how did you grow up? And we only got about 2 minutes before the break, so we'll start with that.
Okay, well, yeah, I was born and raised here where I live now, in San Antonio, Texas. Mom and Dad moved here to San Antonio from Laredo to start a new life and get going with that. We lived near inner city. I went to Catholic elementary school for the first 4 years until my sister went to high school, and Dad moved us to a better part of town, newer neighborhood, better school. Mom stayed at home. I had 4 sisters. I was the second of 5. Dad always worked, right? He barbered full-time all his life, part-time all his life, and was a state employee for a long time, then a contract electrician, and then ended his life as working life as a with the Steelworkers Union.
Wow. So when we get back, we're going to take a station break, but when we get back, we're going to talk about your military career and how you chose on becoming aerospace engineer through the EE program. I tell you, listen audience, if you want to be part of this great conversation, that's 1-888 1-888-344-1170. Again, that's 1-888-344-1170. It's Your Life. I'm James Cooley. We'll be back shortly after the break.
There's more stories of greatness to help you.
Okay, we have Stuart on the line.
It's Your Life with James
Do we
Cooley.
have Stuart on the line?
Noah Dingley here,
so we
producer
got
of the James
young
Cooley
engineer.
Show. It's Your Life.
I tell you what,
And the new audio
Noah,
version of
tell,
James' book, Country
that guy
Boy,
call
City
back
Boy, A
in
Journey That
and,
Ain't Over Yet, is a
third
must-have.
the third segment.
James shares his true life story of struggle and
I know
success
that
in
is.
America. It's both a
third
cautionary tale and a... We're not taking callers until the third segment.
The
The new audio version of
in the
Country Boy,
third
City
segment, that's
Boy,
when we'll
A
start
Journey
taking
That
calls.
Ain't Over Yet by James Cooley on Amazon. Okay, sounds good. Sir,
Hey, sorry about that, man.
The J.C. Cooley Foundation is a nonprofit organization that was started in October of 2014. The J.C. Cooley Foundation continues to strive to expand its programs and offerings to the youth, young adults, and citizens of our great communities nationwide and overseas. We hope that you'll be able to take part in one or more of the many exciting events that we're offering this year and experience firsthand the pride we take in supporting our cause. It's our...
Yeah, he'll call back.
With the youth of today for the challenges of tomorrow, and we rely heavily on the generosity of individuals and business owners for support. Without the assistance of community-minded individuals just like you, we wouldn't be able to serve our youth each year. We ask that you make a commitment to support our annual appeal by making a cash donation. This year's goal is $50,000. Your generosity will assist us.
I didn't hear what you were telling Michelle. What are we doing?
James said that he was
.org.
going to
Remember
control
that
most of
every
the
donation makes a
questions,
difference
but
regardless
he'll
of
let us know
size.
when, we
The
get
J.C.
questions
Cooley
from
Foundation
each of
thanks
us.
you, and
Sure.
Okay, thanks.
So you guys' flight was delayed, eh?
Yeah, good thing we knew that before we hopped into the shuttle. We would have been at the airport for like 5 hours waiting.
Oh, no.
So the guy had to come back and...
Out of town, in realization that life would never be the same. Cooley
Was it weather?
I don't know what it was, but the flight wasn't...
sharing his hard-earned lessons to educate
Wow.
People.
and enlighten our next generation of leaders and heroes. Get your copy of Country Boy, City Boy, A Journey That Ain't Over Yet by James J.C. Cooley, available on Amazon and everywhere books are sold.
Buy something and had to go
Whatever
and do a lot of
happened to
things, but
by every measure,
didn't think we
we're
were
less
going to make
happy
it,
now
man. I know I was
than
supposed to
any
call
time
you
in our
today. I
history.
apologize.
The
We didn't get enough.
No, it's okay. I kind of took it into account. I was like, if I haven't heard from him, I bet you that there was some switching with his flight times, etc. So,
Oh man, this
Conservative
harbor, man.
isn't
Flying
in
right
a
now
world of
is
fake news
totally
where
ma-
politics has
it's
become
horrible.
religion. This book shows us how to be
everybody
reactionary.
cancel your flight, they
Order
don't
Michael
tell you.
Warren Davis's new book, The Reactionary Mind.
but, we
Why
made it here.
conservative isn't enough. From Amazon and wherever books are sold.
And,
glad you guys are safe.
oh man, we glad to be
Wildfire
back
in
home,
America.
man.
But did you know
I was
that this
still
so-called
expecting to
woke
be in studio
ideology
tonight and
is
tomorrow
also flooding
there.
into the church?
But
Reparations
now I'm
fits
glad to
into
be
the
back
scope
home. My
of the
dog
gospel.
is she doing
Watch the
absolutely
documentary
wonderful,
How
man.
the Left is Stealing Your Church
absolutely
and
fantastic.
discover how
Noah,
the ideology
I've been telling you
behind
this for the
critical race
longest,
theory
bro.
and the
You're one of the most
LGBT agenda
talented
is being smuggled into the evangelical world.
guys I know. Host.
What did I do this time?
No, man.
Go to
I tell you this all the time, but I don't think you hear me.
Now app.
Streaming now at the
Man, you're so good at what you do, bro.
and Odyssey.
I appreciate it more than you know. Here we go. Dream big, think big, and be big. It's time for more It's Your Life. Now, here's your host, James Cooley.
Hello, welcome back to It's Your Life. I'm James Cooley, and I got my very, very good friend, David Velasquez. That's here. Got him in the flesh. And I tell you, we worked together. We did a whole lot of things together. A lot of you guys might know about programs called F22 and F35 and all of those type of programs that you sit back and you watch right now. But he and I was on the front end of the design and making sure that everything turned out 15, 20 years later like we are experiencing today. And this guy right here, I tell you, I owed him a whole lot in making sure, because I was in charge of the Lockheed Martin portion of that design, and you have to have a supporting cast that I'm talking about true leaders that knows what's going on, that understands. And everything is about budget, time, and the quality of what you produce, and that's what an engineer does. And this guy right here is one of the best in the business. And so tonight we're talking about thinking big in the fourth quarter. The fourth quarter of life. Because sometimes we make mistakes and we don't get it right in the first, second, or third quarter. But the fourth quarter, we got to finish the job. So listen, audience, if you want to be part of this conversation, that's 1-888-344-1170. Again, that's 1-888-344-1170. Dave, man, I got to ask you this. I know you was inspired. Someone inspired you to join the military. You retired as a military officer just like me. And you develop these type of qualities where you turn everything around with all the education, the double E and all that. And, man, you're making an impact on a lot of people's lives. Can you tell our listening audience a little bit about that?
I tell you, San Antonio's a military town. I grew up here, but ironically, I was pretty naive growing up. I didn't know that. I had a few scholarships to get me started into college, but I was not going to run out of money after my freshman year. But freshman year, everybody took ROTC. It was back in the days when Reagan was coming on board, lots of fun money. You take a 1-hour class and you learn how to rappel or orienteer or something, and, then you go out on the weekend and have some fun doing that stuff. And so I got along good with the ROTC instructor. They were racquetball buddies of mine, and when they found out that I was running out of money, I'm going to have to drop out for a while, they talked me into applying for a 3-year scholarship to help carry me through, and it changed my life.
Wow.
Changed my life.
I know it did, because the military, not just, but you run across role models, and you run across people just like your ROTC instructors that leave an everlasting, because they see things in you or us that we don't see in ourselves at that time. So they lend that extra hand to make sure that they teaching a young fella that you're going to have an impact one day in life, but you just have to go through the change. You got to get your education. You got to finish this ROTC program. You got to do all that stuff. Dave, what is some of the biggest lessons that you learned, going through the ROTC program, learning all of these things, being an Army officer that transitioned you to being one of the best engineers on record?
Well, we came in at a time when the Army and the services were going through a great modernization effort, and I came in as an electronics engineer, and for the Army, we were rolling out things like the new M1 Abrams tank and the Bradley Clyde vehicle, Apache helicopters, and that kind of stuff. And so they needed somebody that understood the electronics side to be the guy testing that stuff. We have plenty of guys that understood powertrain of an engine, or the power of a 105 millimeter gun, or how long a trap tag's going to last. But it was kind of a new environment for all the computer electronics on there. So I was lucky. I got stationed up in Aberdeen, Maryland, and I got to test a bunch of those things, and got to understand, how I commanded there after 3 years of leading technical teams. I commanded there for a great guy. Ended up going off, retired as a 3-star. They sent me to career course and after the Naval Postgraduate School. And, Navy guys are just smarter, right? James, you knew that, right?
Well, I went to Navy Postgraduate School, but, everybody ain't smart there. Yeah, but I'm just joking. But, yes, man, they teach you the strategies of military understanding and knowledge, and they also teach you leadership. Along with the technical side, the leadership side is, as we grow and become senior officers, that becomes more important than the technical side. You have to have an understanding of the technical side because your people are working for you, but you have to be able to lead them and grow. And man, I tell you, you have done such a wonderful job. So David, what inspired you to become I'm talking about all of this knowledge or engineering, postgraduate Army officer, Lockheed, and what inspired you to want to become an author, to make sure that you put your words in writing to educate and teach others?
You know, I don't know that I was inspired to it. You know, I think, it's like so many, opportunities in life that if you just kind of stay open-minded, they fall in your lap. And you just got to be aware, that things like that fall into your lap. So, it was actually, way after the Army and way after my corporate career that I had an opportunity to fall in my lap to co-author the first book. And I just jumped at it. By then I'd had, a lot of different pieces of success, and I thought I had a story to tell that, might help other people. So that's kind of how that started.
David, can you tell us about your latest book, Impact Leadership, and basically what is your 2-minute elevator pitch on this book?
Yeah. Well, I like we said with the first book, I am an author, and a best-selling author, and so I had a call in here to publish the second book. And like I say, it's kind of funny how it came about. I spent the last several years after the corporate career, helping raise my grandson and helping take my parents to the grave. And what happened here just the last couple of years is the grandson is starting to kind of understand the notion of past success. He says, well, how come you don't work? And I can tell him things like, well, I don't have a job, Poppy, but, I have the businesses, and the businesses make money. That way I don't have to go to a job, and I can spend more time with you. Or I always save my money, and so now the money makes money, so I get to spend more time with you instead of going to... And so he's been asking the right kind of questions, and he caught on to it, and so I thought, you know what? I need to capture what he's got now, write something that might speak to him, and they kind of set him up maybe in 5-6 years that we do another book together. And then as he's applying to college, he's applying, as a best-selling author. So that's kind of what drove in that direction. But, the book's kind of like a chicken soup for the soul. Mm-hmm. It's a compilation of a bunch of little stories through my author network. And each of them talks about, something different, but, their challenges. There's business owners and entrepreneurs. There's, millionaires. There's dreamers, people just like me and you that, kind of come together and they tell their story. And the compilation is so powerful because there's a nugget in there for everybody. There's an aha moment that everybody will get out of this thing. So, I think the lessons can apply to anybody. And in fact, my lead chapter is called Leadership After the First Million, and in the fourth quarter of life, leadership challenges. Because, I'd had success. I didn't know that I had to do this, but if I was, then what's the story I'm going to tell? I'd retired a corporate career. I retired a passion that I had with the as a director of the credit union. I'd been through a military career. So at some point, what are you amounting to and where are you going next? And so with this whole thing with COVID happening to us, it gave me time to sit back, think, observe what was happening, and decide to put something together about, there's still a lot of time left in life, and there's still a big impact you can have. And so it kind of drove me to do this one. How's that for 2 minutes?
Wow. That is great. And I tell you, we're coming up on a break, but before we hit the break, 1 minute or less, what kind of changes, maybe, like leadership, that you see that the next generation that can learn from us to go in and give their very best and have an open mind so that they can learn to be the best, whatever they decide to do, be the best that they can be?
Well, the first thing is know that you can be the best. There's no limit in what people can accomplish. You may not have all the tools or resources or assets. Usually what holds people back is the vision. They don't they don't see how to get from here to there. But, man, there's people that will help you, and you just got to decide that you're going to take some action and go in that direction and find the people that will help you. Dream big.
Well, you got to dream big, think big, and be big at everything that you do. And I know that as an impact leadership guy and dreaming and always worrying about first, second, third, but most importantly, the fourth quarter in life. We're going to take a station break, but we're going to come back, and we're going to continue this fantastic discussion with my great friend, David Velasquez. It's Your Life. I'm James Cooley. We'll be back shortly after the break.
There's more stories of greatness to help you overcome adversity. Coming up on It's Your Life with James Cooley.
There is much truth in a journey that ain't over yet, as all of us journey through life's precious gift of time. Just like
Yep.
Okay, so we can, James Cooley Show. It's Your Life. We got a young engineer that's going to call in, so I wanted everybody to get a chance to know David first before
you can join me as I share my true life story of struggle and success.
Call in now.
It's both a cautionary tale.
A little bit of a tip, even though we want people to call, if we do want to hold it so the phones don't ring, I would advise not giving out the phone number until you want people to call in.
Oh man, that's great advice, man.
Because otherwise, then I'm answering the phone, then you're going to me, and then I can't actually get on the air. That's what happened at the beginning of the show.
Man, that's great information, and
dare to be.
I apologize, man.
And it was literally ringing off the hook, so I could not get to the microphone.
Okay, so I tell you, let's do that now. That's great advice, man. Hey, producer, you gotta let me know those things, man. Because now I'm learning.
The J.C. Cooley Foundation continues to strive to expand its programs and
either that or I went home.
I tell you what,
great
man,
communities nationwide and overseas.
And
it's our mission to equip the youth of today for the challenges of tomorrow. We ask that you make a commitment to support our annual appeal by making a cash donation. Your generosity will assist us in making a difference in the lives of the...
I mean, I'm telling you,
Did you ask 9 or 10?
I was going to ask all of those. No, we haven't asked those.
Well, I just want to make sure you didn't already ask them.
No, we haven't asked 9 or 10.
And the new audio version of James' book, Country Boy, City Boy. I'll do 9 and 10 then. So you want me to go first?
Yes. Right. And so we're going to tell people to
success in America.
Call in there.
It's both a cautionary tale and a roadmap to achieving the American
tough one today,
the new audio version of Country Boy, City Boy, a journey that ain't over yet.
My dog's skinny.
On Amazon.com.
I mean, she wasn't skinny before we left. I mean, but skinny now.
Got to feed her and get her back up there.
Yeah, we got to get her back, man, because she has some problems. She had to go to
For example,
emergency room.
George is 40. He was getting sky-high quotes from other companies.
Yep, remember that.
Yeah, so.
It's blood pressure.
But let's do this,
when
man.
I shopped around, I found him a 10-year, $500,000 policy for under $25.
What I was telling you, man, you one of the greatest hosts. I'm telling you, I'm not just producers.
If Select Quote isn't
shopping
you
got talent
life insurance,
I don't even think you know what type of. I mean, I'm just saying that, bro. I'm just being honest with you.
No, I know. I'm just very humble.
But it shows.
But I appreciate it.
771.
Pass the word around, though. Tell many people.
Oh, I have. Trust me, and they already know.
You save.
Get full.
Good. Here we go.
Quote.com/commercials. Their price could vary depending on your health, issuing company, and other factors. Not available in all states.
FM 96.1 North County and AM 1170 San Diego. The Answer.
It's time to dream big, think big, and be big. It's time for more It's Your Life. Now, here's your host, James Cooley.
Hello, welcome back to It's Your Life. I'm James Cooley, and I tell you, we're talking tonight about thinking big in the fourth quarter of life. But in order for you to get to the fourth quarter of life, you got to dream big and think big and be big in the first 2-3 quarters of life, Noah. You know what I'm talking about, my friend.
Yeah, but you're using football terminology, man. You equate it to like innings, like, 7th, 8th, and 9th inning. Then, I can relate to that. But I understand completely.
But all of those are the same. What I'm talking about is you have to understand your opponent or your team or whatever you're doing. Then you have to develop a strategy. Then you have to be able to perfect that, and then you have to be able to close it out. So listen.
I know. I was just giving you a little bit of on-air hard time there, JC.
No, but I like the baseball. I'm a football, basketball, baseball.
Yeah, you translate it to a different sport, but when you're in that final crunch time, you have to look at things a little bit differently, don't you?
You have to look at things a little bit different. You have to be able to think different because over time, experience should sink in, and you become that veteran. You become that Tom Brady type. I know she can't stand that, but Tom Brady, I'm telling you, I don't care. He's still the greatest. Then listen, audience, the phone lines are open. If you want to be part of this great conversation, talk to this great man, that's 1-888-344-1170. Again, that's 1-888-344-1170.
And to equate it to one more sport, you got to unleash your inner Michael Jordan. There's your basketball reference. So, David, producer Noah here, what were the biggest lessons that you learned or maybe takeaways from your corporate career that you could share with people?
Yeah, I tell you, the corporate career, that was just another blessing in my life. The idea that I was able to transition at almost a perfect time. I exited the military early based on the circumstances at that time to jump on board with a company that was doing some really great stuff, tying together the whole concept of train like you fight. I worked in the simulation world initially and came in as a subject matter expert, understanding Army doctrine to try to roll that into the simulations they were building. It was a little bit different in the corporate world than it was in the military. In the military, when I think in terms of leadership, I mean, there's a document that's written. There's a concept behind it. There's a stepping stone to get to. Fairly rigid, fairly competitive. Everybody knows that. So every step along the hierarchy, your leadership knew how to groom you and train you to do the right kinds of things, right? It wasn't so much so in the corporate. So, I mean, it was a little more relaxed. The mentoring I got in the corporate world was really when one person, took an interest and wanted to tell me, hey, you know what, you're not as polished on this side as you should be. So, you want to work on that a little bit. Or, when you speak to that, say these kinds of things that, credentialize back to where you are. So it was a little bit different doing it that way. But I tell you that the real lessons I kind of took away from the corporate world was there's no free lunch. In the military world, when I ran a project, I had a project budget, but I didn't have to pay for my time. Right, my time was given. But in the corporate world, now I had to learn how to kind of pave my way along. There was no free ride. I had to pay for my own time. Learning how to run your own profit and loss center. I guess I lucked out. In the corporate world, I worked for a huge company that was little known up front and became very popular. And went from $3 billion to $10 billion over the first 10 years I was there. It was employee owned, so we each had a chance to participate in, buying the stock and being a part of the company getting bigger and stuff. And after 10 years, it went public in the largest IPO of 2006 behind MasterCard. It was a $10 billion company with 50,000 employees. And I got to think, 20,000 of us, went over the top that way because of the value of the owner and his dedication and commitment to employee ownership, and everybody share everything, right? So made out that. I tell you, the biggest thing, on the other side, the learning curve was, I had a small business partner here in town, and the guy I went to high school with, a guy named Jesse Ayala, he had a great company and was able to help me out a lot for all the things I had to do. And he's the one that picked up on it right away. And I was able to master all the pieces of the job to go find work, build a team around it, propose it, win it, work it, shut it down, and get on to the next thing. He used to tell me, Dave, you're actually the bottleneck to your own growth. You're trying to do it all, and you don't really get a lot of help, so, you ought to just think about hanging up your own shingle and working for yourself. And I was too small-minded at the time to understand the magnitude of the opportunity he was offering me. For me, it was like, but I'm fat and dumb on a fat paycheck. Why would I want to go out and work that hard? But that was probably the biggest thing, that you can be your worst enemy. You can be the bottleneck if you try to do everything and carry everything. You got to learn how to delegate out and bring up other people to do that stuff. That's really the lesson I got out of the corporate world.
That's a great lesson. I mean, that's a big one. And so, you obviously took some time during your career, your corporate career, to learn this. But you also retired from your corporate career fairly early. So did you have any regrets after you did that, and how you managed that transition into retirement?
Yeah, I tell you, this is kind of like a little selfish sounding, a little, what I missed most was the fat paycheck. It took me time to make up that fat paycheck, but the timing couldn't have been more perfect. It was during the Obama year. They were cutting down on the defense spending. The competition, James talks about the kind of high-end work that we did. I was blessed that I led a bunch of world-class kind of guys. He'll resonate with Bob Mansfield and Dr. Gary Smith, Dick Newton, Mark Bell, on and on. I had a whole, Katie Bryant, I had a whole team on different areas of world-class engineers in their area, right? But as the company went to split into two and went into a high-bid area and a low-bid area, then things got tough. The work that James and I used to do for my company had kind of come to an end. I had some stuff set up, but I had a boss, a guy named Bruce Kaida, and Bruce is still working for SAIC, but, he called me up from, he was up in the Columbia area, and he said, Dave, I got your plan here. You're taken care of when the company's split in two. You got your work, and that's great, but, I just think you ought to look at this, whatever they call it, the buyout package. For they were trying to reduce the size of the company to split it and reduce some overhead. He says, you want to look at it because it's really a great package. And he was right. It was just, too good to be true. It was 2012. It was going to pay me through 2013. So it had a long earnings stream through it. So I was 55 years old, and my grandson, RJ, who's just a big part of everything I think about nowadays, he was born that year. Mom and Dad were aging. I wanted to spend more time with them. So it just seemed, even though it was a defining moment, I mean, all the pieces seemed right. I don't know that it was some major plan. I mean, I thought I was going to be working another 5-6 years there. I mean, I'd retired the Army at 15, and in this career, it was 16 years. But the timing was just right. It wasn't all a big plan. Sometimes things, like I say, the opportunities fall in your lap, and you got to be ready for them. So, a little bit of a regret there, but not much. I missed the crowds, and I'm glad I'm still in touch with guys like James. But I had other things to fall back on. I was a director on a large credit union on the board of directors. I had 2-3 years prior been introduced to a world-class travel club that ended up had a network marketing back into it, and I was loving that stuff. My real estate business had started. I had mentors through the network marketing that were, hard money lenders or real estate lenders, and they invited my investment to play in that world.
Hey, Dave, keep that thought. We got about 3 callers on, but we're going to take a station break. Just like the biggest challenge that you had was same as I when we got bought out, but they pay our salary for the next 18 months, and we can't be mad. when you're every time when you got ready to get it. But I tell you what, listen on. You want to be part of this conversation? That's 1-888-344-1110. We'll be back shortly after the break with Dave Velasquez. It's Your Life from James Cooley.
There's more stories of great...
Yeah, he's going to have to get a lot shorter.
I'm getting ready to tell him
James Cooley. The J.C. Cooley Foundation is a non-profit organization that was started in October of 2014. The J.C. Cooley Foundation continues to strive to expand its programs and offerings to the youth, young adults, and citizens of our great community.
We got about 10 minutes left, 11 minutes. I don't know how many minutes we got left. And we might not be able to take but 2 callers, no.
Well, you're going to have to choose because I'm not going to be held responsible.
We'll take Megan, and we'll take...
rely heavily on the generosity of individuals and business
we'll
owners.
Take Andrew and Megan.
Without the assistance of community-minded individuals just like you.
But Megan first and then Andrew.
I'll just leave her on. If we can't get to her, just shoot me a text and I'll let you know.
Okay, so
this year's goal
I'll tell you what, we're going to bring it back. We'll take a caller right off the bat.
Will assist us in making a difference in the lives of the youth in our community. You can give online at CooleyFoundation.org. And every donation makes a difference regardless of size.
Dave is long-winded.
The J.C. Cooley Foundation thanks you in advance
for your contribution. Keep it under 1 minute.
Country Boy, City Boy, a journey that ain't over yet. The true life coming of age story by
Sounds good.
Cooley. Using humor, wit, and engaging storytelling, James paints a picture about his arrival in a rural deep south town and realization that life would never be the same. Cooley lays out his struggle to adjust from city life to country life and back again, sharing his hard-earned lessons to educate, encourage, and enlighten our next generation of leaders and heroes. Get your copy of Country Boy, City Boy, a journey that ain't over yet by James J.C. Cooley, available on Amazon and everywhere books are sold.
90 seconds of
learn what it takes to achieve success.
Let him know Michelle is telling him as well.
Already done it.
And then we'll take Megan, and then we'll take Andrew, and we'll see how we go.
I didn't hear you. I didn't hear you. I was on the phone with Dave.
Okay, just tell Dave we're going to ask him the question number 12 about the fourth quarter.
Incredible obstacles
in 90 seconds, no more than 90 seconds.
Our everyday heroes.
Then we're going to open it up to the callers because we might not get back in there.
Brett Davis show Saturday at 11 p.m. on the Answers San Diego.
Short.
Tell me why Relief Factor is so successful in lowering or eliminating pain. I'm often asked that question. Peter F. Talbot, the father and son founders of Relief Factor, tell me they believe our bodies were designed to heal. The doctors who formulated Relief Factor selected the 4 best ingredients, 100% drug-free ingredients that each help your body deal with inflammation. Order the 3-week quick start now. Discounted to only $19.95 to see if it will work for you too. Call 800-500-8384. ReliefFactor.com.
The Answer San Diego, streaming now on iHeart.com and Odyssey.com.
It's time to dream big, think big, and be big. It's time for more It's Your Life. Now, here's your host, James Cooley.
Hello, welcome back to It's Your Life from James Cooley. And we got one of my very, very good friends, David Velasquez here. And I tell you, I know we got a line of callers on that's waiting to talk to him. But before we even accept a caller, 90 seconds or less, Dave, I want you to tell our listening audience what is your definition of where you spend your time and why you spend your time leading up to the fourth quarter life, and this is life, because we put a whole lot of time in everything we do leading up to that. 90 seconds or less, my friend.
Yeah, well, I tell you, through my travel club, I just started a 60-day fitness challenge, so I think in terms of prolonging my life. I want a very long fourth quarter, right? So starting to eat better and take the supplements I need and take care of my body. I do a lot of thinking about, what's going to happen with, all the social issues we have, the political issues, that kind of stuff. I try not to be too political, but I do have my philosophies, and I try not to put it on anybody. But and I just have thought a lot about, what this lockdown has done to us, how it's affected people. How I miss getting out with the crowd and mourning all the people that we've lost. And like I tell people, if you don't come out of this lockdown with a new skill, a new business, new something, something's missing. It's not the circumstance, it's you. So that's what this book's doing for me, trying to get out there.
Well, you're absolutely right. If you don't learn something is locked down, that means that the problem is you, because we are going through that, and it's challenges. But we need to focus on the positivity, the positive things, and build upon our character and ourselves. What's gonna make us better? I tell you, we got callers on the line. I think we got Megan on the line. Noah, is she still there?
Megan, you're on the James Cooley Show with your life.
How you doing, Megan? How you doing?
Hi, James.
How you doing? Welcome to the show. How you doing today?
Thank you. I'm doing good. I'm David's niece. I called into the show to ask a question and just say hello, and we're proud of him.
You know, David is a great guy. You already know that, Megan. I've been knowing you. I've been knowing your uncle for a long time. You know, so great guy.
He is. He's helped us out a lot, and we appreciate him.
You got a question for him?
I do. So what are some key factors you look for when it comes to making investments, and how do you determine which ones are worth the risk?
Well, first of all, I'm very conservative. I had 20 years on the credit union board, so I understand the finances the way they run through a bank. So I try to be very conservative, minimize the risk, but go after high gains. So kind of like my real estate investments, they're through trusted people that I know won't let me down. I try to use the equity markets. I go with big companies. I have a wealth advisor that helps me out with that. I do look for some small and mid-cap companies that, are going to be the next ones, but generally pretty conservative. You know how I grew up, so we don't really know how to spend money, and so, but I just think in terms of, the rule of 72, that if I can just keep things constant, I know things will double, just on compounded interest.
What a fantastic answer. Hey, Megan, thank you so much for calling in. Thank you. That was an absolutely fantastic question. And the rule of 72, for people that don't know, every 6 years, I mean, if you invest this 50, 100,000, whatever that is, it's going to double within 6 to 7 years. We got another caller. Andrew, are you still there?
Yes, I am. Hello.
How you doing, sir?
I'm doing great.
You got a question for this great man?
Yes, I do. So, Mr. David, I had a question. What are 3 key habits or behavioral patterns to advance into leadership within engineering?
Well, on the engineering, you had to stay current. What happened to me right away is you get into leadership positions, and then you become the project manager, and you get away from the technical skills. So on the engineering side, the technology changes so quickly, you want to stay focused on the technology side, or be able to, like you say, take that path up to management, where you're going to probably run the same thing I did, not knowing how to hand off and delegate and run yourself things. So that's probably the first one, stay technical. The second thing is, education. You got to keep getting smarter because the technology's changing all the time. There's the hands-on skills and there's the theory. And then the third thing is not stagnating.
A little feedback on this caller.
Place or one job, but that can stagnate. So even though I spent 16 years with one company, I think I had 10 different jobs during those 16 years. So those would be the 3.
Wow.
Okay, thank you very much.
Yes, we got Brittany on the line. How you doing, Brittany?
Hi, hello.
Hey, how you doing? Welcome to the show.
Hey, how are you, Dad?
That's my daughter right there. Yeah, doing just fine. Hey, do you got a question for this great man?
Yes, David, how are you doing?
Great.
All right, good to know. So my question is quick. So I've recently started entering into a leadership role. What are some key qualities and attributes I should focus on to be successful in this role?
the key things on leadership is, the way you lead is by showing people how. I mean, you got to have some people skills, but you got to show people how. People aren't going to follow you just because, of your resume or because you're on a talk show. They're going to follow you because they see what you're doing, see the results, and they know they can learn from you. I think that's probably the big thing there. And that applied through the Army, the corporate career, the credit union, and even today.
Wow. That's a great question, Brittany. Great answer. Hey, Dave, I'm going to ask you this because we got current situation. A lot of people think that there's no hope, or a lot of folks have given up because of the current situations that we have, the issues that we have, such as the economy, voter symmetry, politics, and race relations, religion. What word or encouragement would you give people that might think that they just stuck and nothing is going to change and that we're doomed? What would you tell them?
Yeah, I mean, the longer you tell yourself those kinds of things, you manifest them. So first thing is, just know that what you want to accomplish is doable, right? And try to get the negative thoughts out of your head. Tell yourself positive things. Wake up every morning. Feed your brains with positive affirmations. Read the right books. Hang around with the right people. The secret to my success was always not that I was some great leader. I always thought myself as a great execution guy, the number 2 guy. But I always had and still have great leaders around me. And they show me the way. They have the words of wisdom. They show me how to do it and inspire me to go and keep
2 minutes.
So just know that there's so much opportunity out there right now. So much, And so whatever it is you want, I mean, start at home and expand from there. You got teachers, counselors, business owners, mentors, people all over the place that people want to help.
Wow. We're down to the last minute of the show. Impact leadership, and if folks which I think they need to be in tune, how can they get in touch with you? How can they be a part of what you're doing? How can you help them out through seminars or whatever? 30 seconds or less. Can you tell them how to get in touch with you and all that?
90 seconds.
Sure. So, I mean, I'm on all the social media. I have them all collected in one place. The best place is go to my Linktree account, and I'll give that to you. It's linktr.ee, so Linktree / David S. Velasquez. And from there you can find access to the book. You can find access to all my social media, all my activities, and reach out to me and see how I can help you. Wow. I'd love to do that.
Hey, Dave, we're down to the last 45 seconds of the show. I want to thank you so much, my friend, for taking the time to come on the show. We're going to do this again. And I'd like to thank my great co-host, Michelle Cooley, for always being here doing all the heavy lifting. I'd like to thank my great producer, Noah Dingley. You my guy, you know that. We do great things together. Most importantly, I'd like to thank our listening audience for tuning in every night to the James Cooley Show. It's your life. We're going to keep bringing it. You guys keep tuning in. We're always looking for sponsors so we can continue to bring this great message and great guests like David V. Velasquez to the show. We coming back tomorrow, fully loaded. We're bringing the action back, and I tell you, I want everybody to tune in. We got a great show tomorrow, and so I tell you, it's your life with James Cooley. Always dream big, think big, and be big at everything you do. Just like David said, thinking big. We'll see you tomorrow, same time, same place. It's your life. I'm James Cooley.
That was good, man.
Oh, that was good.
Life
that was
with
good,
James
man.
Cooley. To learn more about James, how you can support the show, or become a guest,
we gonna get off here.
Foundation.org.
We gonna
join James weekdays at the same time for more motivation and inspiration to help you become equipped today for the challenges
get ready for a great show tomorrow, my friend.
Real quickly, I don't think I meant to tell you. It just popped in my brain. One of the Christmas gifts that Cammie got me for Christmas She got me the entire original Star Trek series on DVD.
Oh,
Those fancy new.
How many episodes is that?
David?
So it's like 72. It's like all 72
hold on.
episodes. So now I don't have to worry
Hold on
about
one
Netflix
second.
or Paramount. Like I want to watch it. I just pop it in.
Oh
I'm
man,
sitting
you know
at
what,
the
man?
kitchen
You're
and I
wrong
look down at
because
myself and I
me and
can't help
Michelle,
but just
we did not get a chance to
there
watch
I
any
am
Star Trek
wearing
the
the
last week.
exercise T-shirt that came with the bike.
No Star
and
Trek.
I'm eating two.
Oh, man.
So now we're gonna catch up in a minute. But I tell you what, hey Noah, love you, man. Let me get to this Zoom. Let me finish this up.
We believe
Let's
we
talk
have an
tomorrow.
advantageous.
Sounds good, bud.
Talk to you in a minute.
Have a good night.
All right. Can you hear us?
I got you.
How you doing? Hey, dude, that was fantastic, my friend. That was absolutely fantastic. We didn't get to all other questions, but that's okay. We'll do this again one day. And but extremely educational, extremely inspiring, and I just want to tell you one thing, man. I am so glad that you reached out to me a couple of weeks ago, and that we had an opportunity to do this because a lot of times I get caught up. I mean, not really caught up, but you know, all type of guests. I get calls every day about folks want to be on the show. I like to have meaningful guests like you, that I know the story, and I know what you're doing. Everybody's not like that, and you already know what I'm talking about.
Thanks so much. Thanks so much. Like I said, the book's already available on Amazon, but I didn't push it too much because in a couple of weeks I've got another podcast, and I promised them, the launch party. But I thought this went good. I think this went good, and I appreciate you giving me the time, brother.
No, we do this again. I tell you what, if you send me the whatever the links are, my people will make sure that they put it on all of my social media platforms, and it will be on when your show is produced tomorrow at 12 o'clock. When you click on that, you'll see that the studio produced. If you send those links, they'll make sure that they include those in the podcast, all of the podcasts that
Okay, send it to you on email?
send it to myself and Michelle. Just send me the links, and I'll forward it to my peeps. And
If you guys actually have it, when you ask for all the context up in one email earlier in the week.
If you already did that, that means when they finish the show up tonight, and they post it on the podcast tomorrow, it would already be there. I mean, you probably have seen how those things work. That ain't me. That's them doing. I mean, that's me. But I mean, that's them making sure.
Everybody needs people, right?
Yeah.
Everybody needs people, right?
Oh yeah. So, but they do an absolutely wonderful job. At least I think so. I'm not complaining, and I just want to thank you again, my friend. And
Thank you.
we can do this again one day if you want to.
Okay. I'll stay in touch.
All right. You have a wonderful, wonderful day. Thanks so much.
Yeah. Thanks to you, Michelle, and the team.
Hey, thanks so much.
Okay. Out here.
All right. Michelle. Come here, babe. Okay. I got it. I got it. Is she okay?